Give me your hand, I will give you my heart. Oh, every day is a brand new start. His words are here to help us through. Rasulullah, peace and blessings on you. Salatullah, salamullah ala Taha Rasulillah. Salatullah, salamullah. lagunya dan aku putarkan hingga semua terleka. Begitulah kita ditakdirkan untuk bersama. Jika ku air wudumu menjadi serimu dalam 5 waktu.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in, follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. Well, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Beautiful, 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 beautiful angel. Love your imperfections, every anger. Tomorrow comes and goes before you know. So
happy birthday to you, my dear. May all the good wishes come to you. Happy, grateful, all to you, God, and to your mom who has brought you to the world. Panjangkan usiamu, juga dikurangkan umurmu, yeah. Happy birthday to you, my dear. Mari
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Sari Syairah binti Abdul Aziz, and we are from AC110-3P. First of all, I would like to thanks to our group members and Madam Titik Sobah for all the cooperation in completing our assignment. So today we will present about consideration and intention. Consideration is necessity in contract. Agreement without consideration is not valid. Consideration can be anything that is valuable, such as goods, money, or services. There are 3 types of consideration. The first one is executory. It is when one promise is made in return for another. For example, in our daily life, when we want to buy goods from the store, we need to pay. So, in order to get something, we need to give something that is valuable. And the second one is executed consideration. It is when a promise is made in return for the performance of an act. For example, in our story, there is a character named Sari. She has received her salary for the month of January after she performed her duty as a tuition teacher. And the last one is post consideration. It is when a promise is made subsequent to and in return for an act that has already been performed. For example, in the case of Kepung, the plaintiff have promised to give 1% of the profit to the defendant, and then the defendant has successfully helped to get the permit, and the plaintiff does not fulfill the promise. The defendant is suing for the promise, and as we can see, the post consideration is not applied in our law, and because of that, we need to refer to the English law.
First agreement that made on account of natural love affection. Under this situation, it will become a valid contract if the agreement does not have consideration. Both parties must have a close relationship like blood ties. To refer to the case in this video, Mr. Adham have 2 children, which is Luqman and Sari. Luqman is the biological son of Mr. Adham, while Sari is the adopted daughter from the orphanage. Mr. Adam had promised to give a car if they get a 9As in the SPM. They have fulfilled the conditions and have rights to claim for the car. Luqman, who is the real son, can claim for the car because she has a blood ties with Mr. Adham. However, Sari cannot claim for the car because she do not have a natural love affection. Second exception is an agreement to compensate for a past voluntary act. And lastly, an agreement to pay a statute but debt and sign. Next exception is an agreement to compensate for a past voluntary act. This is an agreement to compensate a person who did an act which the promiser was legally compellable to do. For example, in the family, the husband cannot afford to support. The neighbors can help them out. However, the husband should pay the money back to the neighbors because it is not their responsibility for that person. Lastly, an agreement to pay a statute birth debt and sign. Under Section 2, Subsection D, consideration need not move from promisee. Let's take a look at the case Bank Kata Shinaya versus Beri Kata Ramaya. Consideration can come from the third party. In this case, a sister agreed to pay an annuity to her brothers who provided no consideration for the promise as her mother granted an estate to her. The court held the consideration has been furnished on behalf of the plaintiff, although he was strangers to this consideration. Therefore, there are three exceptions that we should know in the consideration. The first one is the natural love affection. Next is an agreement to compensate a past voluntary act. And lastly, an agreement to pay a statute birth debt.
My name is Fatini Aida. Today I would like to talk about under Section 64. Under Section 64, waiver of performance. Waiver of performance is a person who is apart from implementation. First, payment of a smaller sum in discharge of a larger sum. Second, payment by a third party in discharge of a debt. Amount is owing is uncertain and a person is accept and agreed sum in satisfaction. Fourth, a composition with creditors for the payment of a smaller sum. For example, first, when a student who is applied for PTPTN and she maintained her good result from first semester until last semester, and the PTPTN will offer her for 10% discount so that she have to pay in a smaller sum. For the second, her sister or her brother or somebody else is willing to settle the amount is called as third party. Third example is when A is want to borrow the money from his friend named B, 15 ringgit, and when he want to settle the amount, he forgot the actual amount. So he give to B 12 ringgit and B is agreed the amount in satisfaction.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Adham and today I would like to talk about the third element of law of contract. The third one is intention. Okay, without any intention, an agreement cannot be formed, so that contract will not be valid. Okay, there are two presumptions to determine the intention, which are business agreement and social, domestic or family agreements. Okay, I would like to share the first presumption, which is business agreement. Business contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more persons or entities. Therefore, there is no need to have any verbal or written agreement to determine the intention because business agreement will be automatically binded to the law. As the video shown before, Mr. Lokman is a businessman. He and his partners have been binded to the law as they have agreement together. However, there is rebutable for this presumption if they specify any statement that they do not want to be subject to legal jurisdiction. Thus, they will have exception to be bounded by the law.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Muhammad Hakim Rahman Kamal. Today, I will talk about social, domestic or family agreement. There is a presumption of no intention to create legal relation for family, social or domestic agreements. Domestic agreement is one made between two people that are usually family. We can see the situation where Lokman and Fatini get married. After a few days, they sign agreement in the car. They bought a house under joint name. So, the contract is valid as both Lokman and Fatini sign the agreement if the condition that Fatini will own the house if they were separated one day. Thank you for watching.